All right, Alexander, what did you think of Trump's 4-minute video that he put out yesterday? And we're filming this, actually, we're recording this on a Sunday evening. And I did see a couple of hours ago, an FYI, the doctor's latest briefing to the press. And they did mention that most likely Trump will be discharged on Monday day afternoon. So by the time this video goes up, maybe he'll be discharged. Maybe he'll be in the process of being discharged. But either way, over the weekend, we got a second video from him at Walter Reed Hospital. What did you make of it?
I thought it was, as a broadcast, not just a very good broadcast. I thought it was his best broadcast as president since he became president. Now, I want to make that very clear. When I'm talking about a broadcast, I mean the medium of sitting at a desk and addressing the American people, talking, in other words, to a camera and through the camera to the American people, is not really Trump's style. Generally, he's much better when he has a crowd to work with. He doesn't like talking to a camera, but I thought on yesterday, he did it very well. And by the way, I know I'm not the only person who thinks so. I know a lot of people who were very, very critical of Trump, who are very, very critical of Trump, thought the same, that he came across as entirely human, dignified, brave in this very difficult situation. And I thought he came over very, very well. The only thing I'm going to say about it is that he had to do it. The reason he had to do it is because on Friday and Saturday, especially on Saturday, the White House's media operation simply disintegrated. Partly that was, I think, the fault, if I can use that word, but at least the doctors were not very experienced in handling the media crowd. But the White House itself and the White House chief of staff were giving away signals which the media, at least especially CNN, were running away with to give the impression that Donald Trump was almost at death's door. And I think that was an absolute media disaster. And it absolutely needed Donald Trump to come and give that broadcast in order to dispel all those stories and to right the ship. By the way, I'm going to say this. I thought the media not only ran away with the story, but they did what they always do. They engaged in a massive invention. I mean, they took comments by the doctor, twisted and spun them to make it seem as if things were far more serious than they really were. The fact that Trump was given oxygen, again, if you follow the course of this infection with the detail that I have done, you would know that there is no particular significance to be attached to that. But the way it was, as I said, the way it was, broadcast was appalling. And can I just make it very clear? Giving a person oxygen is one thing. Putting them on a ventilator is something completely different. And of course, the media never made that distinction. And I'm sure an awful lot of people ran away with the idea that that was what was being talked about. Donald Trump has never been on any kind of ventilator. That question has never arisen. He's doing well. He needed a bit of oxygen because he was a bit short of breath, and his oxygen levels fell, which they can easily do with this infection. But it seems he is progressing well.
Yeah, I mean, the doctor today, Connolly, I believe his name was, he said he's improving every day. He's doing very well.
Yeah.
And I think he was really forthcoming. I mean, I don't know, does it really matter? Okay, I agree. The communications department of the White House got a little mixed up there in the panic of it all, maybe. And, when you lose your leader, okay, I can see how maybe you need a day or two to get your bearings in order. Given that, I mean, the chief of staff should have all his ducks in a row and able to handle stuff like this. But the media is hitting on this transparency thing, and once again they're trying. It's very sneaky. They're trying to say because things got a little mixed up, say on Friday, Saturday with the messaging between the doctors and the Trump White House, that the Trump administration was lying once again, and they're lying once again.
Yeah.
and they're not being transparent with the American people, and they held back the truth because, like you said, the narrative is he was on death's door, which the doctors, I think, said it 100 times. He wasn't. I mean, I don't know how many times they have to say it at this point.
Yeah.
But that's the message that they're trying to get across now. And they're trying to package it once again into he's a liar narrative. That's the overall, that's the simplistic message that they want to get out to the American people. You see, even when he's sick, he lies. That's their message. It's just completely disingenuous.
It was fake news. I mean, it's worse than you say, because they were spreading this story that he was on, virtually on death's door. And what happened, because he wasn't on death's door, he came out and gave the best, what I think was the best broadcast of his presidency. So it actually backfired, if you think about it, because all those people who might have been going away thinking to themselves, oh, well, Trump is clearly on the verge of death. Suddenly, what do they see? They see him on television broadcasting to the American people. He looked a bit pale. He looked a bit hoarse. He was a little hoarse, but he was perfectly clear. It was clearly Donald Trump himself. He was talking entirely coherently. He never lost his train of thought. He never lost his way in his sentences. He was absolutely himself again, certainly not on death's door. So yes, they spread all those stories for, a couple of hours, and that whole thing disintegrated, and it disintegrated with one broadcast. I do think the media operation in the White House needs to be tightened up a bit. And I take completely what you say about the fact that they get a bit panicked when the leader is out of the way, but he is, after all, the president of the United States, and there should always be contingency planning if the president of the United States is, ill or unwell or something like that. This is not an inconceivable scenario. They should have game planned it, and they didn't. And it was a mess. But oddly enough, it might have worked to Trump's advantage in the sense that it forced him to make what I think, and not just me, I've seen lots of people say this, make the best broadcast of his presidency. So there we are. I mean, it was odd how the whole thing turned out. But, he's clearly doing well. He'll be back in the White House probably tomorrow, unless, things go wrong. But, probably he'll be in the White House tomorrow. He'll be back in charge. And I think he'll be hitting the campaign trail again. And it's now, when we're doing this broadcast, it's the 4th of October. The next debate is on the 12th of October. Maybe he'll be 15. Good at 15th of October.
15, I think.
15th of October. That's 11 days. Maybe he'll be well enough for that. So there we are.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go to close up on the White House operation, say the administration of the White House staff. I think that's also an effect. I mean, we got to remember that Meadows is fairly new to the job, but there's been a lot of turnover in the chief of staff position. I think it's been like you've had Rice Previtz, you've had Kelly, you have Meadows. I mean, it has been a lot of rotation in that chief of staff position. So anyway, not to make excuses, the chief of staff should definitely tighten up, because that is their job. They should tighten it up a little bit and get the messaging right. But the latest polls, I believe, have Biden up now 14. I mean, if those polls are to be believed, then it's going to take a miracle for Trump to win the election. If those polls are to be believed, do you believe those polls?
Well, I'm not sure I do believe those polls, but I mean, they're not good if they are true. And one wonders what happened. I mean, maybe it was the debate. Maybe it was because Trump was ill, you see, and he wasn't able after the debate to respond to the media storm that followed. So, usually he would be tweeting his own side of the story. He wasn't there to do it. As we know, the media is united against him. So he was put on the Biden has been helped through, but we will see. I mean, there's been some summer polls. I mean, one poll I saw put him on 10%, others on 14%, others not particularly changed. So it may be a rogue poll also, that one.
Yeah. Do you think there could also be the effect that the closer we get to the election and the absolute vitriol of the Democrats and the mainstream media and the whole cancel culture thing, which is just ramping up to unprecedented conditions? I mean, it's just getting to the point of unbearable that everyone that they're asking that really will vote Trump is just, I don't want to say scared to death, but they've just resigned themselves to the fact that they're not going to tell any pollster any even hint that they're leading Trump. They're not going to even hint at it because
Well,
you know you
that's also very true, and it's also very true, which is bear something else in mind, that a turnout amongst Democrats is apparently going to be quite low because enthusiasm for Biden is not very strong. So, let's not be. I mean, I could just say something else. I can remember in 2016, there were lots of opinion polls that came out. Many of them looked very bad for Trump, and he still won. So it doesn't follow. We mustn't. We've still got a month to go, and there was a British Prime Minister, Harold Wilson, who famously said, "A week is a long time in politics. A month is an age." And an election like this, it's also an age. We will see how this event of his illness works out.
do you think the polling was done as a kind of fake out? In other words, more propaganda from the establishment, so as to take away some of the lift that he got, say, from the debate, or
I'm going to make a somewhat different guess. I think all those polls were prepared before the debate. Mm-hmm. I think the intention was to have the debate and then come out with a whole series of polls shortly afterwards.
Right, like a fake out, yeah.
Exactly, which would show that Biden had won and that this was always planned and this was always the intention. And that's one reason why I'm skeptical about them. I would again say this. I remember very, very well, that in 2016, one of the things that became known, or should have been known, as a result of the DNC email leaks, was that these opinion polls were being manipulated, that the polling agencies were manipulating the opinion polls in order to make Hillary Clinton appear more popular than she was. That is in those emails. These are in the DNC emails. And that's never been refuted. It's never been denied. I'm pretty sure the same thing is happening again. And I would also remind our viewers that, of course, in every single opinion poll that I remember during the Brexit referendum in Britain, it showed Remain ahead.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I wonder if the polls are doing this in order to, actually, I'm positive they're doing this in order to discourage Trump supporters. In other words, to try and put down the enthusiasm. So they actually say, it's a lost cause. Why go out and vote? But maybe, I can actually think that this may have a boomerang effect on them, in that you're going to have the Biden supporters, or at least the people that, because you don't really have a Biden supporter, the people that don't want to vote for Trump actually say, you know what? I'm not very enthusiastic about Biden. I kind of hate the guy, but 14 points ahead, there's no real reason for me to vote anyway. I mean, they may be doing themselves a disservice by padding the distance.
Oh yeah, I think they do. And I think that happened in 2016, by the way. I mean, I think that an awful lot of Democrats who didn't like Hillary Clinton didn't vote because they thought that she was going to win anyway. So why bother? So I'm sure that factor is in play also. And there's no doubt also that it's the factor of actually demoralizing Trump supporters is also very much in play. I don't think that works, by the way. I don't think that's how people think. I think opinion polls scarcely ever deter people from going out and voting. So, I would discount that, actually. I mean, I would say this. I mean, I'm not somebody who completely disbelieves opinion polls, but in the United States, we have to, because of what we know happened in 2016. And I don't mean the fact that they got the result wrong, But the fact that, as I said, the DNC emails showed that the polls were being manipulated. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, they had contacts with the polling agencies, and the polling agencies were systematically oversampling Democrats. I mean, they were doing that in order to they were oversampling during the primaries people who were not Bernie supporters to make Hillary Clinton seem more popular than Bernie, and they were systematically sampling during the election itself Democrats in order to make Hillary Clinton look more popular than she was against Donald Trump. So that factor was in play then. So if it was in play then, why should it not be in play now? In fact, I am sure it is.
All right. And finally, Alexander, how do you think Trump is going to use this when he gets back on the back in the swing of things? Let's say, I don't know if he's going to go on a campaign rally anytime soon, or who even knows about the debates? You know, I imagine if he does get discharged tomorrow, then there probably is a good chance he may have a second debate, but I don't know. But either way, how do you think they utilize this time off? Say, I mean, you could say it's been a little bit of a time off to move it towards their direction, the election. I mean, there's a lot of his surrogates, a lot of Trump's surrogates are coming out with cool little, taglines and cool little slogans. You fought for us, we'll fight for you.
Oh, I know, yes.
Very, very, very clever, easy to digest kind of taglines.
I think in terms of Trump himself, it depends how well he is. I mean, there is no reason if he feels well, even if he has to self-quarantine, why he can't campaign virtually. I mean, none at all. It's not his preferred medium, but I think, it's something he can explain. He can still communicate with his people. He can still give people in the White House and in the government, the feeling that he is absolutely the man in charge. I mean, that doesn't impede his work directly. And of course, he can do that, projecting to the American people and to his supporters the fact that he overcame the infection, that by experiencing the infection himself, he is, in a way, sharing the trouble that the American people have been through. That's, by the way, one of the things he said in the broadcast, actually, if you followed it carefully, that, he is sharing their experience, which Biden is not doing. He's hiding in his basement. He's keeping away from all of that. So, Trump can do that. He can, I think, turn it to his advantage. But I think a campaign like this will benefit more from having Trump there than having other people fight this battle for him, because Trump is so much his own campaign manager. He's so much his own person. He's such an unconventional politician in so many ways that without him, it won't be quite the force that it was. And if we were talking about the opinion polls, I would be more worried if I was running Trump's campaign by the possibility of Trump not being as vigorous and as active as he was than about some opinion polls which may be wrong.
All right, just to close it up, Alexander, on our other channel, I did a short video on this with the actual excerpt from the actual video from Trump. But there was a comment that I would like you to comment on from one of our viewers, from Aristodama, said this, because I started to talk about how Trump is going to be, if and when he beats us, he's going to be the president that beat back Russiagate, beat back a coup from Obama, beat back Ukrainegate, beat back, the fake news media, and now he's beaten back the CV. And one of the comments was this, and I think you'll like this comment, and I think you'll add a lot of value to it. And the comment says this: something you said at the 7:30-minute mark. They weren't taught, or they don't value, classical Greco-Roman hero narratives, such as Theseus, Odysseus, Achilles, for example. So I find it interesting because this commenter brings in the classical literature, the hero narrative that the Greeks and the Romans perfected. And, I think that may be one of the messages that a lot of people aren't appreciating with all the trials and tribulations that Trump has gone through to now, once again, say, make it back on the campaign trail. What do you make of that comment?
Well, can I just? I mean, I think that's true of an awful lot of his opponents. I mean, I think if you look at the U.S. academic world, if you look at much of the U.S. political world, it's not. I mean, not only do they not like heroes or understand the hero narrative, they absolutely hate it. I mean, they are almost anti that sort of thing. But the tradition in America has been America likes heroes. I mean, it likes heroic figures. I mean, think of George Washington, think of Abraham Lincoln, think of Ulysses Grant, think of Neil Armstrong going to the moon, think of so many people. Think of all those. Think of Hollywood. Think of Hollywood in its prime. All the the gunfighter going, the sole gunfighter going and taking on all the villains in the place in the West, and fighting them and winning them all by himself. So I mean, America is absolutely a country which culturally and historically has admired heroes and heroic figures. So if Trump is able to connect with that tradition, and perhaps more importantly, remind the American people of that tradition and the fact that it is in fact their tradition, it could work to his advantage. It's not just a Greek tradition, but also do remember, it's interesting that he mentioned the Greek tradition. Of course, the United States is a republic, and as a republic, it was very much conceived by its founders as the successor of the classical world. It did look very much to its in its inspirations to ancient Athens, ancient Sparta, ancient Rome. And I mean, look at this architecture. Look at the architecture of all the great buildings in Washington, D.C., for example. Look at the fact that in Nashville, they've even built a replica of the Parthenon as it was. I mean, this is not in any way a discordant thing to be a hero in the United States. The discordance is to be an anti-hero. But that seems to be the way things are evolving on certain, within certain elements within US society. But the people who are anti-heroes, who support, who dislike hero narratives, of course, they're not going to vote for Trump anyway, because that's what it is about him that offends them.
Yeah.
I mean, think of MacArthur, for example. General Douglas MacArthur. I mean, the way he was built, he was seen as a heroic figure in the United States, and the way he was admired in the United States. But of course, today there is those sort of people oppose people like that. And to the extent that Trump embodies it, that's another reason why they detest him so much.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, we'll leave it there. Alexander Merkurs, thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below. Hit that like, and also send us your comment down below. Let us know what you think of Trump's 4-minute video, and go to the Duran shop, pick up some merchandise, and also donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, Subscribe Star, and also check out the Patriot Beacon 3 contest that our friends at Patriotic Legacy are running, and that contest is a 20% off when you use the code Duran20. And when you make a purchase from the Patriotic Legacy, you'll find a link in the description box down below. You'll be entered into the contest to win a Patriot Beacon pink color, Patriot Beacon 3 pink color, as well as a Duran magic mug with the USA shield on it. So once again, Patriotic Legacy in the description box down below. The pink Patriot Beacon 3, it's for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And use the code Duran20 to get 20% off. Duran Shop, Patriot Beacon 3, heroes, anti-heroes, the hero that fights the anti-fuzz.
Quite so. Anyway. And just to say, this is a Patriot Beacon 3, and for those of our viewers, our new viewers who don't know what a Patriot Beacon 3 is, it is the best flashlight in the world, made in the United States. The country with the flag of the magic mug that Alex is holding there and drinking from. In fact, I've also got it, as you can see. It's there beside me. It is the best flashlight in the world, made in the United States. It ships internationally, so you can join this competition wherever you are. And what makes it such a great flashlight? Well, first of all, it's the indispensable part of any flashlight. It's got an absolutely wonderful, powerful, magnificent clear beam. You can dim it if you're in an enclosed space, so you've got lots of people around you, but you can also actually have it flashing, which is really useful if you have if you're, say, walking along a dark place and you've got oncoming traffic. You alert people that way very well to the fact that you are there. But it's not just a flashlight. It's got all sorts of other things also. And that's why Alex calls it the Swiss Army knife of flashlights. What other things can it do? Well, firstly, I showed you how it flashes and that alerts people to the fact that you're there. It can also, there's another way of also alerting people to the fact that you're there, and that's that it's got an alarm in the handle, which you can press, and that will immediately tell people where you are. And in my case, because I walk with my dogs at night, they often come running. In fact, they always invariably come running when I press it. So it's got this enormous advantage of this alarm. It's also got a compass in the handle. So if you're driving where there's no sat nav, or where the GPS isn't working or whatever, or if you do what I do, which is you like going on long walks in the forests or in the hills and you get lost, well, you can quickly find your bearings because you've got a compass there in the handle, which helps you immediately find your way to where you need to be. It's solar powered, so you don't need to worry about batteries. You don't need to carry batteries with you. You don't have to fumble around putting it in batteries when it sort of, the power goes. All you need to do is during the day, keep it out in the light, and during the dark, it's there for you. It's as simple and straightforward and as utterly reliable as that. You can also recharge your smartphone or your tablet or your laptop or any other appliance that you need to charge. You've got a port there. And of course, it can be used as a tool because it can be used as a hammer. You've got you've got a sort of hammer function. Or if you're using it in your car, then if you need to break the windscreen, or you need to get out and get somebody out of another car that's in an accident and you need to break their windscreen, it is a brilliant windscreen breaker. The way to do it, by the way, is just to tap. You don't need to smash, just tap fairly gently at the four corners of the windscreen, and it will come down. And then if you need to cut somebody out of their seatbelt, you've got a seatbelt cutter there. And the other thing, which is an absolutely genius thing in my opinion, is it's got a magnet on the side. So if you have a metal thing in your car, you can just put it there and it's there immediately to hand. Or better still, in my house, that's where I put it when I need it. I've got it in my cellar. I've got a place where I just put it there and it's there for me to use whenever I need to take it down. So it is a brilliant, brilliant flashlight. It's the Swiss Army knife of flashlights. It's made in the United States. But the best thing about it is that it is beautifully made. It is strong. It is rugged. It feels indestructible. The moment you hold it, you know you've got a quality product in your hands. And that gives you that total confidence that only a true quality product can. You have to handle it to see it and to know it. But the moment you do, you would know exactly what I'm describing. So it's the Patriot Beacon 3. It's made by our friends at the Patriotic Legacy. It's made in the United States. It ships all over the world. It comes in pink in this competition as part of, as Alex said, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And please join this competition. Get yourself one of these amazing products. Indeed, you really must get yourself one of these. And of course, it comes with a Duran mug with the flag of the United States, the great nation and republic in which it is made. And can I just quickly say a few things about our mugs? They are the best mugs in the world. They come in many different sizes now. This is a big one because that's the United States is this great nation, so it must have a great mug. But we've got little mugs like this one for Greece, for example. You can see, and they are. This is Greece. And by the way, these are perfect because you can have a big mug for, say, hot chocolate or beer. Beer from my mugs, or you can have a smaller mug for, say, a Greek coffee or a double espresso. So, I mean, these are perfect mugs. And we've also got other mugs too, enamel ones, as you can see there too. This one with the flag of England. And we've got shirts. You've seen our mugs with all the various flags of various countries. We now have flags on our shirts, and we have flags also on our hats. And our hats are of superb quality, and our shirts are of amazing quality. And that's the flag of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. And Alex is showing you the flag of Poland. In fact, if you come to our shop and you see a product and you can't find it with the flag, that's Switzerland. that's Switzerland. And you can't find the flag that you want, well, just wait a little because it's bound to come. We're adding the flags of American states. But if you still can't find the flag, well, just drop us a line and we'll help you. And indeed, we've also got hoodies, and we've got ebooks, and we've got amazing things on our shop. So come to our shop, support our channel, and get yourself a Patriot Beacon 3.
All right. You'll find all the information in the description box down below. Alexander Mercouris, thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, take care.